we're back. Yeah, weird power outage. Gotta love them Texas power grids. Um, yeah, welcome back. Sorry about that. A flicker long enough to affect the stream. Yeah, I completely lost everything. I had to reboot. But anyway, let's get back into this. I mostly just wanted to pause so the 2 or 3 people who are in here will come back and watch this one, hopefully. But let's continue.
Like, you can't just talk about conspiracies after they're proven, because then they're not conspiracies. Then they're just facts. Conspiracies are trying to figure it out when you don't have all the facts, when you just have loose evidence. So this is like again, Candace Owens, in my opinion, is not doing conspiracies. Candace Owens, in my opinion, is straight up lying and grifting and has zero evidence to anything.
Yeah,
COVID,
no, she's the worst.
I don't know, man.
But when people posit a conspiracy and then provide you no evidence, they are doing you a fundamental disservice, and they are making you stupider in the process. Finally, because it is our job to make the lives of our audience better, right? That's really our job, is to give you more information to make your lives better. We have a duty to propose solutions.
And to
That's
please
why we
that
have to
duty.
talk about our problems in order to find the solutions.
I agree with that. That's my biggest. That's another one of my major complaints with, like, Tucker Carlson, for example. That dude never has solutions to anything. It's all problems.
Same with Candace Owens.
Problems. He is the biggest pessimist of all time. That's crazy.
That's what politics was supposed to be about, after all, finding solutions to our common problems. If we speak endlessly about the problems we face, without ever positing a solution other than wrecking the system or centralizing power in a cult-like figure, we are not finding solutions.
I agree with him.
We are merely making problems worse. Just asking questions, positing vague conspiracies, raving like Alex Jones about the secret confederacies that control your life. None of it makes...
Bro, Alex Jones is so right, though. Oh, my God. Yo, bro, Ben, debate Alex Jones. I can't do this.
Your life better. None of it. In fact, it makes your life markedly worse. That's because if you truly come to believe that nothing in your life is in your control, you can't even...
I don't know, man. Saying that there are no conspiracy theories, that's what a lizard person would say. I'm just saying.
Take control of your own life. You despair of your ability to change your own circumstances, and then you fail. And you must not fail. Because here is the most fundamental truth of all in the United States. For all of its problems, many of which, a huge number of which, are real and serious, the United States is still the greatest country in the history of planet Earth.
Facts. True.
Yeah.
We have the greatest
I'll give it
constitution
that.
ever devised by man. We have the greatest founding philosophy ever put to paper in the Declaration of Independence. In this country, you can make of yourself what you will, and if there are true obstacles
For the most
standing in your
part.
way, we can all work together to remove them. That, by the way, is the essence of conservatism, that we live in a world created by God with a logic and a rationale, that we as human beings were created in God's image, as it says in the book of Genesis, with creative capacity and the power to choose, and that in a free country of limited government and defined powers, with property rights and equality under law, our destiny is in our hands, and that we all have a duty to make the most of that historic opportunity. Anyone who tries to convince you otherwise is lying to you, and they are making your life worse in the process.
Damn.
Now that lie may feel good in the moment. It may excuse us from taking the corrective action we can take on a personal level to fix our lives. It might give us someone else to blame for our own failures. But in the end, the lie kills. Not just your future.
I actually agree with this also. Because one of the major issues, I think, with, like, the left is, you'll have, like, a black community that's poor. And, all the schools are just going to teach all the kids in the black community that, the reason why you're actually poor is because of white person bad racism 400 years ago.
Yeah, and I don't agree with this. Even if it's true, okay, objectively true, that's never something you should teach people. You should never teach people that there's no hope. You should teach them to be realist, but you should also teach them that you can get through it. If people automatically... Now, people who learn that through life experience, that's different. Whether it was your own choices or life just hates you. Like me. But this shouldn't be something that you teach your kids. Teach them to be realist. Teach them to be prepared in case bad things happen. But don't tell them that bad thing's going to happen and there's nothing you can do about it or after.
You get that, and it's like, bro, I don't know, man. I don't know if that's really the reason why it's shitty here. This victimhood stuff is kind of cringe, and I get that as well. I get that same vibe from some people on the right even that are like, well, actually, it's not my fault, it's the Jews, right? It's like, bro, what are you doing? The Jews didn't stop you from going to the gym, all right? The Jews didn't stop you from getting a wife and building a family. Like, get out of here. Like, to some extent, it's just so frustrating. The victimhood shit is toxic. And he is right that shifting blame on other people as opposed to trying to fix yourself, that's a toxic mentality.
Sure, but the country that we've been given. So,
one guy in chat literally got cucked by a Jew, and he's like, actually.
For those of us who talk for a living, that's our job. To discuss America's problems with truth and with evidence, to provide possible solutions, and to encourage Americans to succeed and make great decisions.
Yeah.
We who speak to people on a regular basis, who have a microphone and an audience, we have duties to you. The duty to speak the truth. The duty to speak principle.
Look, I try my best to be honest, obviously, and I try to be honest and principled and all that. But if someone doesn't speak the truth, you call them out. I don't think they have duties to anyone. That's my incredibly nuclear take. Gatekeeping is cringe. My incredible nuclear take is stop gatekeeping, man. Literally stop.
Not personal feeling.
And I definitely agree with that to an extent. I'm not directly opposed to gatekeeping in most things, but honestly, politics shouldn't be one of those things. But there's a difference between calling people out and saying you can't come in here.
Duty to take responsibility for our own actions. The duty to provide you with evidence to do more than conspiracize or...
I agree. And, dude, by the same way that, a YouTuber has duties to show you evidence, the viewers have duties to demand evidence. I don't know, man. I'm so tired of the gatekeeping. I'm so tired of, like, the moral...
And if you're not getting evidence, or you're getting crap evidence, Candace Owens, or no evidence at all, Candace Owens, yeah, just go to a different community. Unless you're just there to see what this crazy woman's going to say next. And I mean Tucker Carlson when I say crazy. No, sorry, it's the laugh.
Outrage and gatekeeping part of all of this. Like, guys, the left is killing us. They're trying to circumcise. They're trying to castrate
They're trying
our
to
children.
circumcise
They're
us.
trying to murder our babies.
We
are screaming and yelling about who should and shouldn't be allowed in different movements. Debunk them with facts. Shut them down in debates. That's what it's all about. Not this duty-bound, like, what, you think Candace Owens is going to stop uploading videos now because you made this speech? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm actually happy he made this speech because I do believe that it took courage. It took courage for him to stand there and say some,
It did, because Candace is the big money.
Things.
And that's the thing. You can see that Candace Owens is pretty much like most people who consider themselves leftist. Not people on the left, not people who are liberals, just people who consider themselves leftists, who know what it means and say, yes, that's me. Yeah. I'm sorry. I need another cup of coffee.
Certain areas of the internet. I actually respect that. I'm not gonna lie. Thanks for the 30 subs, Soup.
Ask questions and the duty to posit real solutions. And if we fail in those duties, you shouldn't listen to us.
Yeah, I agree.
But you have duties too. Far more important duties. Duties to God and to yourself and to your families. The duty to do the best for yourself and your family and your country with the abilities that God gave you. The duty to be grateful for this extraordinary country. The duty to celebrate what we've all been given and to fight to preserve it. All of that, every bit of that, begins with truth. We owe you that quest for truth. You owe yourselves that quest for truth. And true victory only comes through truth. Thanks so much. Happy to take a couple questions.
Damn. So anyway, he gave this speech. And I have to say, it cooked. It cooked in certain areas. In certain areas, it was a little too gatekeepy and like, well, actually, my version of conservatism, good. Your version, bad. So therefore, you're not allowed to be here.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what happened. All right.
Okay. And I hate when people do this with religion. Now, if you want to critique people and say that they're not following it to the way that the church teaches you or whatever, that's fine if it's done out of love. But if it's done because you think that you're better because you stick to the doctrine more than someone else, you're a piece of shit and you really don't stick to the doctrine any more than anybody else. You have your shortcomings, as does anyone. Get over yourself, Karen.
Okay, I don't trust any of these guys for truth. Good, you shouldn't. Never trust a YouTuber. YouTubers are all liars, just like politicians. They're trying to manipulate you to get your views. Never trust a YouTuber. None of them. Not me, not Ben Shapiro, not Nick Fuentes, definitely not Candace Owens. Because she has zero evidence. At least I have evidence. That's the difference between me and Candace. I have evidence. She's just retarded. No, that's the difference. So, anywho,
yeah, pretty much.
Now, the reason why I wanted to show this speech in full is because this speech changed the entire America Fest and started the Civil War.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, this is the reason why many of the people are mad. Ben Shapiro's speech, as you can see, got 700,000 views. All right? Megyn Kelly made a speech, didn't even break 100K. All right? Steve Bannon gave a
And the main reason for this is because Ben was actually saying something. The rest of them were just doing personal attacks. Let's be honest. And don't you love seeing Megyn Kelly and Candace Owens directly attack his manhood specifically? It's just great. You'll see it here in a second. Also, Steve Bannon has titties.
Speech didn't even break 7K. All right. Jack Posobiec gave a speech, didn't break 3K. In fact, JD Vance's speech only has like 30K right now. A lot of you are unaware.
It's a really
Ben
good speech.
Shapiro gave the biggest speech of the day by a large.
And I gauge how good a president or vice president is based off two things. One, his election promises. How many of those he at least attempts to keep to the very best of his ability or her ability one day. Same thing with vice presidents. And the other one is how much do you represent the alleged values in the current day for your party? Or at least the values of your party overall. Not really so much as current dayism, because current dayism, everyone's further to the left than they were in the 90s. Republicans these days, at least until about 2 years ago, were further to the left than most liberals were in the 90s, at least the mainstream ones.
Mile, because it unbelievably, it started an entire conversation. Shapiro's a YouTuber. These guys are all YouTubers.
Not on all.
Like,
I mean, abortion's always been.
You think
but...
Megyn Kelly's a YouTuber, like 4 million subscribers. All right, get out of here. So anyway, the reality is, it's pretty crazy. Name 10 duties. Sure. The 10 Commandments. All right. One God, not more gods. Don't use God's name in vain. Keep the Sabbath. Honor your parents. Don't kill. Don't steal. Don't covet your neighbor's wife. Don't be super envious and a piece of shit. And other don'ts. All right, there we go. I kind of lost track of where I was up to in middle of it. But that's kind of where we're at. So Ben gave this speech. It was diabolical. Now, a lot of people kind of took his side. This is Vivek Ramaswamy. He also kind of gave a very similar coded speech to Ben Shapiro. Don't bear false witness. Yeah, true. Don't. Anyway, and a lot of people are criticizing him for this, but he went out there.
Even normalizing hatred towards any ethnic group, toward whites, towards blacks, towards Hispanics, towards Jews, towards Indians. You have no place in the future of the conservative movement.
You see what I mean? Super gatekeepy. Oh my God. Now, like, here's the thing. I agree with what he's saying. I agree. It's not a nice thing to do. All right. Don't have like, don't be a racist piece of shit in general just because people are different ethnic groups. Okay. All right. Whatever. Bro, stop. Literally stop. You are like, dude. Right message, wrong messenger. That's one. And two, and I think this is also fundamental, who are you to decide who gets a place in a made-up movement? This is crazy. This gatekeeping will never work. Anchor Baby guy who was part of a giant alleged scam who came here, and while, yes, I agree with most of what he says even, I'd say. I would even argue that I agree with most of what he says. Dog, what are you doing? Literally, what are you doing? You don't have the right to be in my movement? What the fuck is your movement? Like, shut the hell up with this gatekeeping garbage.
Period. And I will not apologize for that. I will not hedge when I say it. If you believe, and you will forgive me for giving you an exact quote from our online commentator, Nick Fuentes, if you believe that Hitler was pretty fucking cool, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement. You could debate foreign aid to Israel.
Look, and again, the guy was an edgelord. That was like 10 years ago. People can change. But at the same time,
all you want, that's fine, that's fair, but you have no place with that level of hatred. You can debate the right resolution of the Russia-Ukraine war, but if you believe Joseph Stalin is someone to look up to, you have no place in the future of the conservative movement. If you call Usha Vance the Second Lady of the United States of America a cheat. You have no place in the future of the conservative movement.
So yeah, I agree with him that calling Hitler really fucking cool is pretty retarded.
Yeah.
I agree with him that idolizing Stalin is pretty retarded. I agree with him that calling Usha Vance a Jeet is not a nice thing to do. But who are you to do this gatekeeping? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, Vivek has been a Republican for 3 minutes. You know what I mean? I don't care, because I find the whole theater very entertaining, but just saying.
Oh my god, it's crazy.
And if you can't say those things without stuttering, then you have no place as a leader at any level in the conservative movement either. Certainly not in my state of Ohio.
Good thing I'm not a leader and I'm just retarded. So anyway, so that's what's
Same.
going on here. This did not go over super well by a lot of people. This went over well by some guys, but for the most part it didn't. Hitler was a nerd. Yeah, no, Hitler, I mean, to be fair, Nazi uniforms are pretty cool. But aside from that,
I mean, they're
Hitler
Hugo
was probably
Boss.
the biggest failure ever. Yeah, no, he gave charismatic speeches and then he marched his entire country into absolute oblivion, fractured the entire West, and aged in and ushered in 80 years of white guilt. All right, the reason why this multiculturalism slop project happened is because Hitler was such a fucking nightmare. Yeah, no, he was a nightmare. He really was. He was terrible. Failure as an artist, slightly charismatic. No, he was charismatic, to be fair. But, you know, he kind of united the world, I guess, against him and then destroyed it. Now, first I'm going to show
Basically.
you a pro Ben Shapiro remark. So this is Scott Jennings from CNN. Here's what he had to say about Ben Shapiro.
I was so heartened to see how well this seemed to be received by the Turning Point audience. I am a bit of a skeptic that this is a debate in the Republican Party or the conservative movement. To me, the debate seems to be between like content creators on the one hand and real conservatives. And Ben, of course, representing the conservative position. You told me this. You were one of the first people to say to me, when you go out and you meet with audiences, there's nobody there pushing that kind of anti-Semitic, Holocaust denial, Nick Fuentes, and even the Tucker Carlson position, but that people in America are still very much on the side of Israel, very protective of Jewish Americans. What say you about all of this brouhaha?
Well, I was proud of Ben, and I'm a big fan of Ben, but he gave an absolutely necessary speech. You know, as a Republican, I always tell people
sure.
we're a political party.
I can
We're
see it
not a
being
sponge.
necessary.
You know, we don't have to absorb everything that oozes in under the door. I mean, if you had a political party meeting, a Republican meeting, and somebody came in and said, hey, I have an idea, let's raise all the taxes to 100%, you'd beat them up and throw them out. So if somebody oozes in and says, hey, I have an idea, let's deny the Holocaust, let's turn our back on Israel, let's attack the Jews and blame them for everything going on in our world, why wouldn't we treat them the same way? This is our ally. This is a democratic ally of the United States.
And yet no one is willing to actually debate the guy. I'm just saying, and yet no one is willing to actually engage with the talking points. Not even one.
A shared Judeo-Christian heritage. This is the underpinning, the pillars of Western civilization that we're upholding together. And you want the conservative movement to attack all that and turn against that? So my view is the Republican Party and the conservative movement very much can tell the difference between right and wrong. I think the left in this country is having a real trouble with that, but we cannot fall victim to the same thing. I do think some people are dabbling in this to make money, to get attention. And I think in the case of Candace, what she has done to a grieving widow and force that poor Erica Kirk to pay attention to her, to meet with her, to say the things about this. Also, she can make a few extra bucks on some kind of a podcast is nothing short of disgusting and vile. And I'm sorry Erica Kirk has had to go through that. The Turning Point folks are trying to keep an organization
Candace Owens is the
going
worst.
in the wake of a horrific murder.
Or we should.
Yeah. So Ben Shapiro, obviously, he went over like the standard boomer crowd, obviously. However, it seems like on the other side of the force, there are a lot of people that are trying to subvert the movement in a pretty wild way. So before I show you everyone's responses, I have to show you more context. Ben Shapiro got a question about the USS Liberty. For those of you that are unaware of what the USS Liberty is, the USS Liberty was an American ship
I hate this
that
whole
was bombed
argument.
by Israel by accident in 1967 during the Six-Day War. I could give you more context, but essentially the story is Israel was attacked by multiple surrounding countries, Jordan, Lebanon, Egypt, like by multiple Arab nations surrounding surrounding Israel all attacked Israel at the same time, and the USS Liberty was in Egyptian waters, not where it was supposed to be, and Israel struck the ship, and it was an unbelievable tragedy. An unbelievable tragedy. Nightmare. Friendly fire. 34 were murdered, were killed. It was truly a horrible, horrible thing. Anyway, so Ben Shapiro gets asked a question about the USS Liberty, because nowadays, and there were 14 investigations for the record. There were 14 investigations into this strike that all proved that it was an accident. And there's no one that proves that. No, there's basically zero evidence that this was done maliciously in any way. However, they're still doing their absolute best to paint this as how secretly Israel is trying to destroy America. Which, again, this is no evidence of any of that. This is one of those talking points that really has nothing. But someone tried to hit Ben Shapiro with the USS Liberty talking point.
Truth as the most important tenet of American conservatism.
And I absolutely abhor people who come to these things with questions and they have not done the research to see if this person has answered this exact question 100 fucking times. Or anyone has or like, if you disagree with his response, then press him on that. Don't ask him the same question to get the exact same answer that you've already heard him say. It makes no sense. But here we go.
Therefore, did you call irrelevant the Israeli attack in 1967 on the USS Liberty, which left dozens of American servicemen dead and hundreds wounded?
So what I actually said is that if we're looking at modern Israeli-American relations, looking at an attack that happened...
Yeah, is that too quiet? Hold on, let me find better footage.
During your speech,
There we go.
Oh, there it is.
truth as the most important tenet of American conservatism. Why, therefore, did you call irrelevant the Israeli attack in 1967 on the USS Liberty, which left dozens of American servicemen dead and hundreds wounded?
Again, this happened 50, 60 years ago. Why are you so passionate about it? It's not because you care about the deaths of those people. It's because you hate Israel. That's just a fact, okay? This happened over 60 years ago to people that you don't know. If he's Jewish, sure. But or if he's well, even if it was Jewish, it wouldn't make any sense. But yeah, but like, if it was like your grandpa, or all you ever heard was grandpa talk about how he lost his brother or his dad or whatever, then sure. But if you care this much about people you don't know, who you have no familial or any kind of direct ties to, something that happened, what is that now? Yeah, 60 years ago. You don't care about the people that died. You just hate the people that did it.
So what I actually said is that if we're looking at modern Israeli-American relations, looking at
And
an
I don't
attack
even
that
glaze
happened
Israel like
mistakenly
that.
by multiple Navy reports, multiple Israeli reports, and all available evidence, and using that attack in order to undermine today's relations between Israel and America, that's irrelevant. As irrelevant as it would be to cite a piece of evidence.
Hot take, he's completely right.
Yeah.
He's completely right. No one is telling America to not be allies with Japan because Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. No one's telling America to not be allies with England because England burnt down the White House in the 1800s. No one's telling America not to be friends with Germany because of Mustache Guy. Again, just like, so in my...
Although they haven't changed a whole lot if you look at some of their modern laws to where you can't even talk about politicians online without getting arrested.
In my opinion, it is irrelevant. And also, Mustache Guy, as well as Pearl Harbor bombing, as well as British burning down the White House, that was all done intentionally. This was literally all done intentionally. The USS Liberty was an accident. And it was 60 years ago. So no, it should not hinge on like the actual U.S. relationship with Israel.
From World War II or from 1776 to define America's relations with, for example, Great Britain or Germany today. That does not mean that the attack wasn't horrible for the Americans involved, that it wasn't bloody and terrible. The Israeli government paid reparations to the people who were killed. If you look at the actual military record of what happened on the USS Liberty, it was clearly a mistaken and tragic attack. The people who frequently cite the USS Liberty, however, are not talking about the specifics of the USS Liberty. I suspect that the vast majority of people who bring this up are doing so in order to suggest that Israel deliberately attacked an American ship because Israel deliberately wants to harm America. It is connected generally with a larger point. I wonder if that's your point.
All right, so
I don't think he has a
good
point.
Good response.
If the truth matters,
And the guy doesn't answer, obviously, because obviously this dude...
And this is one thing I hate in debates or these question answer sessions, is because a lot of the time you'll get the people in Ben Shapiro's position, the person on stage, who won't answer the question. They'll answer a question that has something vaguely to do with the topic of the question that you're asking. Or the audience member will ask a question and then completely bypass your whole response to said question so they can answer a question or ask another question or a follow-up question that has nothing to do with your answer. It only has to do with them getting another clip and them making just grandstanding for no reason without taking anything you say into account.
Literally does just use it
This
as
happens
a
on the left and the
smear
right.
Israel.
then the Israeli government must be held accountable for...
They were held accountable. They did 14 investigations. 14 pages. They did 14 investigations into this attack that came up that it was an accident, and Israel paid millions of dollars in reparations. Obviously not like that could bring the dead back to life.
Also millions in the 60s, not millions now. It was worth a lot more back then. Still worth a lot, but worth a lot more back then.
But friendly fire happens. It's a nightmare. It's a tragedy.
What was
Unbelievably,
America's
but
GDP
they were held
in
accountable. I'm not sure what the point is. Like, well, am I supposed? So I mean, like, what are we even supposed to do?
What's
Does he want to
America's
nuke
GDP
Israel
now?
like we nuked Japan? Like, is that gonna like?
Yeah. So this is how different it is. Our GDP in 1965 was 784,000. Our GDP now is 30.4 trillion. Okay. So that's what's that, 50 times? Math is difficult for me.
Make you feel better? Like, I don't even know what the point is.
Or that...
Except I do know what the point is. The point is he doesn't like Jews. That's kind of the point.
Still not saying it's worth a human life. 50 times, what was it, 14 million roughly? Times 50, so that's a number that makes my head hurt. It's like, what, 77, math hurts.
It's just one of those guys.
Attack. The American flag was flying on that ship. You do not mistake an American ship.
See, and again, he's just grandstanding. He's just saying words that mean nothing, really. He's just throwing out anecdotes.
For a foreign one, when our flag
If that's the right term.
So, we can spend the rest of the time talking about the specifics of the U.S. Liberty attack, or you can actually go look at the naval investigations that were done, multiple naval investigations that were done. The reality is that people were flying Mirage planes for the Israeli military at the time. The USS Liberty was sailing in an area where it had essentially gone off-grid. The Israeli military mistook it for an Egyptian ship. They thought it was shelling Al Arish, which happened not to be true. In the initial attack, the American flag was knocked down, and then the attack went on for about 90 minutes. And then, as soon, you can hear this, by the way, on the tapes of the Israeli pilots talking to each other, as soon as they realize that it's an American ship, they call off the attack, they speed a ship to try and help the USS Liberty. There have been multiple unfortunate friendly fire incidents between...
This guy never read anything. He's just literally using talking points, and it's honestly pretty sad.
Allied forces, including, for example, in the Gulf War, where U.S. forces were responsible for killing about 9 British troops during the Gulf War. It's an unfortunate reality of war, but you're not answering my question, which is, what is your broader agenda in asking the question? Because I suspect that your question is not limited to your specific ire over an incident that happened in 1967.
Good point. Yeah.
I think we should question any foreign country's relationship with
Of
our
course.
government.
That's totally
Doesn't answer the question at all.
fine, but I'm just wondering why you...
serve American interests.
Again, I'm perfectly fine with questioning any country's relationship with the United States, but...
Are you though? Are you though, sir?
I mean, I was going to say
Engage in a
similar.
debate. I have never seen Ben Shapiro engage in a debate about this. You know that? This dude used to debate everyone. I have not seen him engage in this debate at all. Not even one.
Again, I'm wondering what your motivation is in bringing up a 6-decade-old attack as though it is the #1 issue in assessing the relationship between Israel and the United States today.
Now, again, I'm gonna call out Ben Shapiro because I call out the retards on all sides. All right, Ben, You have no right to ever use the Holocaust as some sort of get-out-of-jail-free card to talk about Israel's relationship with Israel ever again. Israel's relationship with America ever again. All right?
I agree.
This is the nuclear take that, in my opinion, this young Groiper should have said if he was intelligent. This guy seems retarded, not going to lie. But the reality is, then that makes the Holocaust...
And let's be honest, most Groipers aren't that intelligent at all.
My response is, it is.
Not saying I am, but they aren't either.
I'm going to tell it to you straight. This is coming from a guy who, my grandparents are Holocaust survivors. The Holocaust is irrelevant for modern relationships between America and Israel. All right? Now, this is the nuclear take that, unfortunately, I've never heard Ben Shapiro say, because I don't think Ben Shapiro and I have exactly the same stances here. But my opinion is the Holocaust is irrelevant to modern Israeli-American relations either. It was an absolute nightmare. We should all learn from history. Doesn't mean that America owes Israel literally anything. And Ben Shapiro doesn't say that. So anyway, anywho, that's why you watch Nuxinor, because I throw shit at everyone.
Well, many problems persist to this day, but it's interesting that you say 6-decade-old incident when there are many people in this audience who were alive for that attack.
Again, this is like completely...
That's a non-issue. That's a non-issue. That's so stupid. Just because you were alive during something when it happened, or just because someone may have been alive who remembers that, again, what's your point? You don't care about this issue. You just hate Israel.
Garbage, emotional bullshitting, and gaslighting.
Which is fine to hate Israel, but be real.
Literally sounds like a libtard. There were people alive when racism existed. People are still alive when there were different water fountains between black people and white people. And you're saying that George...
And it was horrible. But then again, you can also still say, for someone who was alive back then for that, you can still say how much better things are, or at least were, today. And you can also understand their frustration and their, deep-seated hatred and anger for other people in the same regard. I don't know. These are all complex issues, and there is no simple solution or answer to anything.
Floyd died in innocent
There's a joke in there somewhere, but I'm going to skip it.
Get out of here, bro!
As if this is something that's irrelevant.
Well,
it doesn't
no, it's...
So anyway, this is just sad and pathetic. Groiper got obliterated. It's kind of sad, honestly. But anyway, the reason I wanted to bring that up with the USS Liberty is because now you have to see all the responses. So first, I'm going to show you, let's do Megyn Kelly. All right, so Megyn Kelly, then I'm going to show you Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and Steve Bannon. I'm going to show you everybody. It's going to be pretty awesome. So this is what Megyn Kelly had to say. You know what? Who should I say for first? You know what? We'll start with Tucker. We'll start with Tucker because I have a pretty new...
I just got here and I feel like I missed the first part of the program. Hope I didn't miss anything meaningful. But I just want to say...
Okay, that part, sure. That's a funny way to start something after something like that happens. I'll give that to you, Tucker. But that's about it.
I don't think I did. No, I'm just kidding. I watched it. I laughed. That kind of bitter, sardonic laugh that emerges from you when, like, Upside Down World arrives. When your dog starts doing your taxes and you're like, wait, it's not supposed to work this way.
No one knows what the fuck you're talking about, Tucker. If this was the 90s, Dana Carvey, I could see him doing a perfect impersonation of you, if he hasn't already. You are a Muppet. You're a cartoon character. Like, I know I have my moments when I'm not particularly funny, or people don't always go with my brand of humor, but I have never seen the appeal of Tucker Carlson.
To hear calls for, like, deplatforming and denouncing people at a Charlie Kirk event, I'm like, what?
To be clear, he never denounced anyone. I mean, he did denounce people. That was a lie. He never called for the deplatforming of anyone.
He never called for any deplatforming.
A giant pussy. All right? Now, here's the thing. Dude, I'll take 10 Nick Fuenteses over one.
Tucker Carlson is that one girl who gets drunk and laughs at her own jokes all night, but stone sober and with a penis.
Tucker Carlson, this guy is such a fucking fraud. He literally is working for a foreign government. Now, I'm going to prove that. 100%. This guy's scary as fuck. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here. He never called you a racist. He never called you an anti-Semite. He said you platformed people he didn't like. And also, and this is super important, he never called for the deplatforming of anyone. He criticized people, just like you criticize people all the time. Tucker Carlson has an entire show where he criticizes Ben Shapiro all the time.
Yeah.
What?
And I'm pretty sure Ben Shapiro, even though he hates Nick Fuentes with a fiery passion for some reason, he still says, when Nick got his channel back, I'm pretty sure he said that he was good with that. He didn't agree with anything that he says. He finds him vile. It's fine to say those things, 100%, and I can completely understand why he would feel that way. But I'm pretty sure he's never called for the deplatforming of him, other than his own platform or in events like this.
What are we talking about?
This is hilarious. Yeah, this is hilarious. Actually,
The dead silence from the crowd was crazy.
Yeah.
hilarious. Yeah.
Bro, the dead silence in the crowd.
This is hilarious. Actually, one of the clips I was listening
Like, you can hear me in the background going,
to myself, thinking as I often do when I hear myself speak, which is never, because I never watch myself, but
Yeah,
at
we
these
know.
events, they always play like the role of you. And I'm like, that guy is pompous. Woo. Sorry about that. We don't see ourselves clearly. But
Retarded.
the prediction that, at
Slightly
some point
flamboyant.
when Republicans took power again, which
in a powdered wig wearing kind of way.
I did everything I could, to help. And
This is a sort of lie. A lot of people don't know this, and this is pretty insane. A lot of people don't know this, but actually, after Trump lost the election, supposedly, in 2021, Tucker Carlson said, "I absolutely hated Trump with every fiber of my being." He said this in text message that he hated Trump and he's so happy that he doesn't need to think about Trump ever again. That is what Tucker Carlson said. And then, when Donald Trump won again, you know what Tucker Carlson did? He attacked Ben Shapiro of being an anti-Trumper in 2016. So while I think that, yeah, it's true, Ben Shapiro was an anti-Trumper in 2016, Tucker Carlson hit everyone with the most unbelievable level of bullshit that he hated Trump forever right after that. So, politely fuck yourself, sir.
really felt that was important.
And it's okay to change your mind. It's not okay to flip-flop. It's not okay to jump on the bandwagon. But I was watching Shapiro at the time, and I saw that he was very anti-Trump, of course. And then as he did certain things that he liked, he changed his opinion and then I guess ended up voting for him in 2020.
Nice.
Tucker Carlson is such a shill. I think he's such a fraud. I'll take
Allegedly.
an honest Nick Fuentes or an honest Ben Shapiro any day over the absolute drifting hack of Tucker Carlson. Because this dude's a fraud. And honestly, the funniest thing is, even Nick Fuentes hates Tucker Carlson.
Yes.
And calls him a fraud and a fed constantly.
Still think, I was
And Tucker Carlson, the only person who can compete with him for being disingenuine and a shill and in the pocket of certain people or completely delusional or any of the bad things you can ever say about anyone claiming to be a journalist ever. Candace Owens. She's just as awful, if not worse.
right. But I really thought that the impulse to deplatform people, or even to use the word
He never, ever said deplatform.
Yeah,
You are
never
putting
said
words in his mouth. He never tried to censor anyone. Ever. He's criticizing people. You're acting like such a bitch.
platform as a
Total
verb,
bitch.
which it's not. It's a noun. Don't steal my nouns. Deplatform and denounce. Why haven't you denounced somebody else? The whole Red Guard Cultural Revolution thing that we so hated and feared on the left that we did everything we could to usher in a new time where
Dude, I love the silence in the audience.
you could have an actual debate. I mean, this kind of was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's public life. And I think
So why are you a pussy? So why do you refuse to debate Ben Shapiro?
I think that he died for it. I really believe that.
True.
And I know a lot about it because the last several months of Charlie's life were devoted in part to arguing about this event, in fact, this speech, in fact, my speech here, which he asked me to do earlier this year, this summer, and was immediately put under just immense pressure from people who give money to Turning Point. I would
I'm not going to say who it is. It was a Jewish doctor.
assume good people, but who wanted him to take me off the roster. And this has all become public, and the whole thing is so sad that I never talk about it, except to say Charlie stood firm in his often stated and deeply held belief that people should be able to debate, and that if you have something valid to say, if you're telling the truth, you ought to be able to explain it calmly and in detail to people who don't agree with you.
Except Charlie Kirk, and this is a fact, and I appreciate that you're putting words in his mouth, Charlie Kirk refused, by all means, to platform Nick Fuentes. So if you use Charlie Kirk as your barometer for who you are deciding to platform and talk to, then you shouldn't be platforming Nick Fuentes. Now, I personally think it's okay to platform Nick Fuentes. I actually disagree with Charlie Kirk on this. But if you're going to use Charlie Kirk as your barometer for who to platform, then
I agree with that.
You are a bitch and a liar and a fraud. Because Charlie Kirk did everything in his power to make sure that no one talked to Nick Fuentes, and you brought him on, didn't ask him a single hard question, and literally just, Nick Fuentes said, I am a big fan of Stalin, and you're like, that's interesting, let's put a pin in that. So that's essentially what we got. So, anyway.
And that's exactly what he did.
And that you shouldn't immediately resort to shut up racist. You shouldn't immediately
He didn't call you a racist.
go to motive. By the way, shut up racist is the #1 reason I voted for Donald Trump. And because I'm just sick of it. I mean, first of all, if I was a racist, if I was a bigot, I would just say so. Okay, it's America. You're allowed to be whatever kind of person you want. I'm not. I'm sincerely opposed, have always been, and will always be.
Sure.
But the style of debate where you prevent the other side from talking or being heard because you immediately go to motive, well, I wonder why you're asking that question.
I love that he does this, but at the same time, he goes to motive. He says that Ben Shapiro is a foreign operative working for Israel, and then he refuses to ever discuss with him. So again, like, dude, I think Ben Shapiro was acting like a bit of a fraud when he was talking about how open debate is super important, and he refuses to defend his points. And then you have Tucker Carlson here saying that, oh, you always go to motive, and you shut down conversations, and you literally do that too. This is unbelievable.
I wonder why. Why are you asking that question? I detect in the question a certain evil in your soul.
Right, so this is obviously him criticizing the fact that Ben Shapiro said to the guy about with the USS Liberty, he said, why would you ask the question about the USS Liberty? And he's like, well, why couldn't he ask the question about the USS Liberty? This is literally what he's saying right now. He's criticizing the USS Liberty thing.
Because it's a stupid question.
That's for context, and I'll show you.
And not even so much the question itself, but the follow-up questions. Completely disingenuous. And whatever.
Why later?
And everyone listening should know that listening to you implicates them, and that they someday may be asked to denounce you, and that friendship is not a reason to defend someone.
True.
Love is no defense. I kind of thought we'd reach the end of that, and as far as I'm concerned, we have, and I'm not going to play by those rules.
Yeah.
I'm not going to engage in that.
Right.
He said after how many minutes of engaging? After 6.5 minutes of engaging.
Isn't like what I think, fine with me, as long as I get to express it. That's my view.
Yeah, that's beautiful, sir. Anyway, so Tucker Carlson, in his speech, I'm not going to show you his whole speech because he rambled a lot, but I am going to show you the highlights. For example, this is him saying Islamophobia is so bad.
And what you're watching now, attacking millions of Americans because they're Muslims?
Yeah, this comes right after the Bondi Beach massacre, where a Muslim guy murdered 15 people on a beach.
It's disgusting. And I'm a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I know there's a lot of effort to claim I'm a secret jihadi. I'm not. You should not attack people on those grounds. And you're seeing it from Republicans. What the hell?
Attacking Muslims?
What are you doing?
I love how attacking Jews, okay, whatever, that's fine. Okay, Jews secretly control the world, whatever. Attacking Muslims? Oh my God, they're Americans! They're Americans like me and you! How can you possibly criticize Muslims? It's disgusting, it's horrible! But no, he's totally not paid off by Qatar. Anyway,
completely not paid off
in my
at
opinion,
all.
Echoing Qatar talking points.
If my brother went on a drug-related murder spree,
Right.
I would not denounce him. What? Are you for drug-related murder sprees? No, I'm for my brother.
Bro, what?
And nothing will ever make me not.
He's
for
a
my
big
brother.
Dexter fan.
Yeah, if my brother was on a drug-related murder spree, I would denounce him immediately. In fact, you're in the wrong religion, I think. Because I'm pretty sure that in Christianity, you actually do your best to actually find truth. At least in Judaism it's like that, and in Christianity it's like that. It's you find truth and you actually do criticize your family when your family does something wrong. Whereas in Islam, actually, you'll notice in specific communities, they kind of support the terrorism. I'm not saying everyone, but some of them do. Bro, what is happening? Like, literally, what are we doing? What are we doing? So yeah, anyway, that's Tucker Carlson, and in my opinion, giving one of the worst speeches I think I've ever heard in my entire life. Now,
Yeah,
Tucker
I've never,
Carlson criticized
again,
Ben
never
Shapiro
been a
lot,
huge fan of
for
Tucker.
shutting down
I've
questions and
I've
trying
liked
to
making
figure out
Kelly here and there.
motives
Never liked
asking
Candace.
questions about the USS Liberty. Well, I'm gonna hit you with a nuke. This is Charlie Kirk. God rest his soul. He was taken from us way too soon. This is Charlie Kirk getting asked a question about the USS Liberty. I told you, I prepared this entire video. This is American Civil War, the movie.
Sure. So I have a question. So from America First perspective, why do we give $3.8 billion to Israel, which is more aid than we've given to Africa, more aid than we've given to South America, and more aid than we've given to the Caribbean combined, which is home to 1 billion poor people, especially when they deliberately attacked the USS Liberty in the 1970s?
So this is a lie. First of all, it was in the 1960s. Second of all, it wasn't deliberate.
That is incorrect. Do not peddle conspiracy theories in our event. That is not acceptable. Do not say that.
Okay, Dean Rusk disagrees with you.
But I thought Charlie Kirk would have welcomed these questions. But Charlie Kirk would have welcomed these questions, guys.
When he was the Secretary of State at the time, but that's fine. And then the second part is also, you have the Apollo incident in which they illegally stole weapons-grade uranium. The CIA has reports on this.
Anti-Zionist,
No, I'm not anti-Israel. I'm just asking from America perspective.
I'm not anti-Israel.
I'm not anti-Israel. I just want to know, when the Jews control the world, are you okay with that? No, not anti-Israel.
Let's be honest.
The Jews inventing
They already do.
Because it's not in our interest. They act
Remember
against
the
our
short
interest.
question part?
Sure. I mean, well, how is it in our interest that we
Easy.
give this money to Israel?
All right, so it's required that they have to buy American weaponry. Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East, the only place where all 3 monotheistic religions are allowed to peacefully practice. It's the only country in the Middle East where all 3 monotheistic religions are represented in their government. It's the only place in the Middle East that has any appreciation for LGBT rights whatsoever. It's the only country in the Middle East.
By that he means literally not executing gay people.
Yeah.
That doesn't throw homosexuals off the top of buildings when they find them. It is the only partner that we have in the fight against radical Islamic terrorism. And the subtext of your narrative could be extrapolated to say, well, why on earth would we have a partner like Israel? Guess what? The world's a better place because of Israel.
So yeah. So anyway, that's how Charlie Kirk answered the question. You know, the question that Tucker Carlson said, "How dare Ben Shapiro go to Motive? How dare he go to Motive?" Charlie Kirk would have never done that. Charlie Kirk loved it. Well, you watch Charlie Kirk absolutely shut that fraud down. Damn. So yeah. Anyway, I felt like that was super important to show for context, because no, obviously the whole.
And what people lie about what Charlie Kirk believed in. Tucker Carlson, why? Because he's the worst.
USS Liberty. Yeah. Again. No one takes. In my opinion, Charlie Kirk was a giant. He was a giant. He was holding this entire shit ball together. You know, he really was. And I feel like he's the only one that actually understood, the battle for the future. Everyone else is kind of paid off by different areas. It's kind of insane. Anyway, so that's this guy. Ben Shapiro lied. My response. That's the guy that asked the question. How could you say Britain is our greatest ally when they burned down the White House in 1814? Yeah, so yeah. No,
this guy's a retard.
Now, for more USS Liberty discussion, before we get into the rest of the retards, this guy asks, there are survivors from the USS Liberty. They testified that the American flags were flying. Maybe their memories are inaccurate. It happens. But their testimony is direct eyewitness testimony. Why not interview them? They're still alive. See what they got wrong. All right. Great question. This guy, Cam Higbee, a journalist, responded, I did that. He had an hour-and-a-half long debate with Phil Turney, a survivor from the USS Liberty, and obliterated him. I'm not going to show you the entire debate, obviously, but Phil Turney was literally making shit up. All right, this guy was featured on Candace Owens' show, obviously, and he was literally making shit up.
Someone associated with Candace Owens is a habitual liar.
The USS Liberty talking point's hilarious, in my opinion, from a really sad, sardonic way, because it was an unbelievable tragedy, and they're using this tragedy to push some sort of narrative, and he absolutely murdered him. I urge anyone that wants to see the entire narrative fall apart, watch this debate. I'm not going to have time to cover it right now. It's an hour and a half long, and this is already going to be big. So, anyway, we got to move on to the next of the 4 horsemen of the retards.
I am done with it.
We got to talk about Candace Owens, ladies and gentlemen. All right?
Yay!
Owens. Get ready for one of the craziest rides of your life. This was her response.
This one is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on.
Got him.
That's pretty
I
funny.
say that on behalf of the world. I know.
Silence world, black woman speaking.
I get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men, who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you.
That's a lot of good arguments.
You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud.
She then went on to say, and I bet you get no bitches.
Describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew.
The Talmud. Oh boy, we're getting into the Talmud. Wow. She's just anti-Israel, guys. She's not anti-Semitic.
And I've
She's just anti-Zionism.
what's in that Talmud. And
For the record, she hasn't learned what's in the Talmud. The Talmud is 37 volumes, all right? It's incredibly complex. It's philosophical debates for 37 volumes. She did not learn what is inside the Talmud, all right? Just to be clear. But anyway.
I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that.
And here she picks up the Talmudic Jew. This is hilarious. This is very funny. And this is awesome. The Talmudic Jew is a widely debunked book where they literally have
I was going to say, I was
fake
pretty sure that was debunked a long time ago.
quotes, all right? It's full of, like, it says in this book, the Talmud clearly states that Jews drink the blood of Christian children. I swear to you, it does not say that anywhere.
Didn't Borat say that?
The Talmud, in fact, it doesn't even really talk about Christians very often, because Christianity was just getting started. It wasn't even called Christianity at the time. Yeah, at the time of the Talmud. So the Talmudic Jew is like a vastly debunked ancient book that is literally completely wrong, full of misquotes and straight up forgeries. Now, this would be comedy. It would be comedy. Except she is promoting this book to her audience of retards that think that Charlie Kirk was killed by Russian French legionnaires and the Israeli-Egyptian alliance. So people are going to
Those
believe
Israeli
this,
planes that were in the same place as Erica Kirk within a week of each other a few times.
Kind of diabolical, but this entire book is like an obvious fake thing. But she's just anti-Zionist, guys. She's not anti-Jew.
Talmud that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too, white men. He hates all black people.
He hates all black people? It doesn't say
What
that in
the
the
hell?
Talmud. Well, how do you know that?
Okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean...
What are the rules of the Talmud? Tell us, please.
When I say hates, they think that we're animals.
It literally doesn't say that anywhere in the Talmud. So the first thing that she has to say...
Says it in the Quran.
...is that in the Talmud, it clearly states that all non-Jews are animals. Except it literally doesn't say that anywhere. That's actually not true at all. And it's crazy. She'll just say this stuff. But no, she just hates Zionists, right? She doesn't like Israel. She doesn't like Israel. It has nothing to do with the Jews.
That they have a right to own us. That they have a right to make
it doesn't say anywhere in the Talmud that Jews have the right to own non-Jews or blacks or whatever she's saying now.
Says it in the Quran, though.
They have a
literally doesn't say that anywhere in the Talmud.
Right to lie to us. That they have a...
Yeah, no, again, it literally doesn't say that anywhere in the Talmud. In fact, the crazy thing is, the wild part is she doesn't even read her own Bible. All right, in Genesis chapter 21, it straight up says... Let me see if I can find it. Uh-oh. Yeah, so it says straight up, at that time, Abimelech and Pichol, the commander of his forces, said to Abraham, God is with you in everything that you do. Now swear to me here, before God, that you will not deal falsely with me or my children or my descendants. All right? It's literally absolutely not, man. This is crazy levels of gaslighting. None of this is true at all. It's straight up mistruths. Anyway.
Right to sue us and take everything that we have.
It doesn't say anywhere in the Talmud that you could just randomly sue the Goyim and just take all their stuff. It literally doesn't say that anywhere.
Did that kind of suing exist?
Sure. Sometimes Jews win, sometimes
in the time the Talmud was written?
Because that's part of the debate. But it is nothing. You can't just randomly sue random non-Jews and take all their stuff. No, it's not how it works.
That they have a right to deceive us.
It literally doesn't say that anywhere in the Talmud. It's crazy.
That they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive.
Ben Shapiro and Charlie were great friends when he was alive.
Only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben.
It sounds like you're censoring and deplatforming.
Goodbye. Question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not too proud to admit that I was wrong. Apparently, the thought of suing someone's been around for almost 4,000 years.
How many more articles is his father going to write under the pen name Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature.
Oh boy.
No, because
belly creature.
Belly creature.
On.
That fat guy you're about to see.
The question is, how many
Steve Bannon.
more weeks and years do we have?
Is the worst.
She's not doing any personal attacks. I mean, that honestly, I'm really glad that she's not doing any personal attacks. That's pretty great.
To keep pretending.
Hell yeah.
Like Ben Shapiro is relevant.
I mean, you're talking about him.
Open-ended question.
In fact, everyone was talking about him. everyone's talking about him, so I don't know.
Ben Shapiro on stage is somebody who Charlie loved very much and who he fought for.
Yeah, but you know who wasn't invited to Charlie Kirk's event? Oh, that's right, Candace Owens.
Very end. Because the
right.
Jewish donors who were pressuring him, some of them because Ben Shapiro insisted that they do.
Yeah, no evidence of that.
That
but anyway.
is Charlie Kirk's true legacy, and that is Charlie Kirk's true friend, just as I was and am. And
Yeah, except you weren't invited to any of his stuff for years. So, no, actually...
Yeah, because you accused his widow of murdering him, or being in on it,
your
at least.
Whereas Charlie Kirk actually was Ben Shapiro's friend. In fact, Charlie Kirk literally had a discussion with Ben Shapiro on their show, like, a week before he was murdered. So, this is wild.
Continue to fight and ask questions about who killed Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, so we're still going to ask questions.
And to people that are at home,
get ready, it gets better.
I implore you to wake up.
Wake up, guys.
To these
Grab a
people
brush.
Wake up
Put on a little makeup.
Contract lords. I challenge.
Contract lords. I don't hate Jews. They just think they're contract lords. It says in the Talmud that they can deceive us and own us like cattle. Doesn't say that anywhere, by the way.
Oh my!
Americans
It really doesn't.
To wake up.
Wake up, Black Americans. Get ready. It keeps getting better.
To your true history.
Wake up to the true history of the Black Americans.
The world is not with white men. Okay. Wake up to who publishes these books and keeps us warring with one another.
No.
Christians versus Christians, right? Christians versus Muslims.
Yeah, why would Christians hate Muslims? It's probably not the infinite Christian genocide that
Notice she won't say anything about the Jews.
happened all over the Middle East. It's not. It's probably not the fact that
At least
Christians, that Muslims tried
in
to
this regard.
murder Christians in the 1400s, and then Muslims tried to murder Christians in like every single generation since then throughout all the Middle East. Wake up, guys! Wake up! Who really is pissing off the Christians about the Muslims? It's probably not the genocide in Nigeria or anywhere else, or anyone else. That's right. That's right. I know that Lebanon used to be a Muslim majority, Christian majority country, and Egypt used to be a Christian majority country. Liberia used to be a Christian majority country, and Syria and Iran used to be Christian majority countries, and Nigeria and Sudan. They also used to be Christian majority countries, but now for some reason they're Muslim majority countries. Where did all the Christians go? It's probably the Jews. Probably the Jews.
And it was not white missionaries or American missionaries or any kind of Western missionaries, because Christianity was in Africa before it was ever in the West.
Wake up and learn the true history of slavery.
What's the true history of
slavery? A white man sport.
Wait, so slavery wasn't done by white people? Oh my God, who really did slavery, Candace?
Okay, Jewish people.
Slavery was done by the Jews. We figured it out. We've come full circle, everyone.
Well, that's it.
We made it all the way here. So Candace
That's
Owens
right,
used
ladies and
to be
gentlemen.
a giant
Slavery
leftist.
was brought
A lot of
about
people
by
were
the
unaware of that.
Jews.
She was a giant leftist that ran like this doxing website to dox and cancel right-wing people.
Also,
and
did
then
you know
she
Candace
left
Owens is
during
retarded?
BLM, but the reality is, slavery was always actually done by the Jews.
Were the ones that were trading us. Jewish
Oh
people.
my God, it was the Jews that were trading the blacks. Who sold the blacks? Who sold the black people? Who sold the Africans? Other black people. Interesting. Who did the number one most of any religion? Who did the most slavery? Who still does slavery to this day? Oh yeah, oh right, the Muslims. Oh no, that doesn't.
Real quick. Okay. So, a couple days ago, I guess J.D. Vance participated in some Navy SEAL training, which is awesome. It's great to have a president that's young enough to be able to do any of that. So there was a picture that was posted online. We'll start with the actual picture. Right here among all these others, keeping up, or at least the appearance of him keeping up. And then this is why I've got a lot of respect for Vance, even though I don't agree with him on a lot of politics. He's great with criticism. But and then he did this. I mean, it's absolute cinema. Like, look at this. He's embraced the meme. Maybe a little too much with his Halloween costume and such, but you gotta hand it, and that's another reason I had any respect for Charlie Kirk at all before he died. He took the South Park episode that really shit on him in stride. And that's the best you can hope for in an adversary. It's the best you can hope for in a friend. And it's the best you can hope for as a mentor or anything else that he could possibly be. I give flowers where they're due. I don't care if you're on the left or the right. You do good, then I say good job. If you do bad, then I say fuck you. Anyway, continuing.
Doesn't work. So who's slavery in America? All right.
Apologize for all the coughing.
All right. But 1% were Jews. So Jews did have slaves, to be clear. Completely true. Completely true. She is right. Jews had slaves. Essentially, basically on the same exact
Yes.
scale as white people.
Jews had slaves.
Control of the slave
Everyone's
trade.
had slaves.
They buried a lot of it, but it's
Yeah, so is the Jews.
there, and you can find it.
Yeah, so 13% of the tribes sell about 50% of the other tribes. No! Don't say what actually happened, guys.
I think all of us need to wake up to this because it's
Wake up to the fact that the Jews actually did the slavery. The Jews also invented dinosaurs and space.
making me absolutely sick.
It's sickening.
That he is so bold that he dare sit near Charlie Kirk's chair, that he dare.
How dare you sit near Charlie Kirk's chair? Yeah, we've schmooved all the way here. We've gotten here. So anyway,
Yeah,
Candace
Candace Owens is the worst.
She's been cooking. Some would say.
The word
This is what
retard
she had
comes to mind.
say about the USS Liberty. So this person asked, as I showed you this tweet, there are survivors of the USS Liberty. They testified, etc., etc. Why don't we ask them? Because Jewish people in media sue if you interview them. So according to Candace Owens, if you ever interview a survivor of the USS Liberty, you get sued by the Jews. Bro, what are we doing? What are we doing? So yeah, Candace has been having a normal one.
Jew
yeah,
sued.
So she's been cooking. She's
Or
been
we'll
crashing
call them
out. She
the
basically did an
Sues.
entire
Don't try me
hour.
on this.
You're a
You
little
keep trying me on this.
Suish.
You are an imposter, Ben. You're an imposter. The entire world knows that you are an imposter. I mean, you're so
Among
much
Us.
of a fraud that essentially what you do is you have people send around clips to grown men to cheer you on, to pretend like the audiences love you,
Oh my
because
God.
you don't have the confidence anymore to go out into the world because you know people see you for what you are. And so it exactly what he did yesterday. We can now listen to what this imposter said as he hit the stage. You are such a joke of a little man. Your jealousy
He
against
doesn't
Tucker,
stop.
your ability to believe that you can keep
Oh my
manipulating the markets. Look at
In
you.
the
You are
markets?
such a little worm. I can see you
Worm.
right now, probably. Because what you really believe in is Baal Berith. That's what your people believe in. You and the midget horse that you rode in on.
Yeah.
And I say that on behalf of the world. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have
Bro,
absolutely
she is so
no
mad.
value that exists outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic
Talmud.
Jew. Goodbye, Ben.
Goodbye, Ben.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Wheel and deal behind the scenes to make people think that you're liked.
Oh my God.
It's being really, Ben. It's truly, honestly embarrassing. Why are you not embarrassed to be alive? I don't understand it.
Dude, she's so mad. She is so mad. It's crazy. Why are you not embarrassed to be alive, Ben? Damn. Holy shit. Actual whammon moment. For real, for real. Wake up to the true history, guys. It's the Jews that started slavery. So anyway, I'm thinking of buying a short horse to cosplay Ben. So anyway, this is a reverend, an American guy, Christian pastor fellow, basically saying, yo, Black America, what are we talking about? The Jewish
What are you
brothers
talking
and sisters
about?
co-founded the NAACP, marched arm in arm with Dr. King, got beaten and jailed beside us in the civil rights movement, put their lives and money on the line when the entire country hated us. Now Candace said on a podcast that they're actually the ones that started slavery. Dude, it's so crazy because this is like so obviously not true. Like it's so obviously fake,
Yeah.
and she just pushes it anyway because it doesn't matter. None of it matters. So this is wild. The actual
Candace Owens
Twitter
just
news
blames the
site,
Jews
so
for
this is Twitter
everything.
News. Candace Owens attacks Ben Shapiro with discredited Talmud claims, right? This is objective, right? This
Yes.
isn't just like, opinions. This is objectively fake.
And my guess is when she found out that this happened, she said, well, clearly Elon Musk is a Jew.
In the near 4-minute rant, Candace Owens cites the Talmudic Jew to claim Talmud views non-Jews as non-animals, and that Jews dominated the Atlantic slave trade. Assertions dismissed by all historians and scholars as anti-Semitic tropes, based on mistranslations and fabrications. The video follows her earlier theories about an inside job in Charlie Kirk's September 10th
What? Candace Owens puts out things as truth that are complete fabrications? No way.
assassination attempt, metadata, dreams, and anonymous tips, which even Alex Jones called absurd. Critics like Winston Marshall and Coleman Hughes labeled her rhetoric heinous anti-Semitism, etc., etc. But yeah, no, she's like, yo, it's literally in the Talmud, and then she like literally just makes up a whole bunch of quotes. It's pretty insane. It's pretty awesome that she has the balls to do that kind of stuff. It's pretty wild, bro. Her husband needs to control her a little bit more. This is wild. So anyway, Candace Owens said this because she's been on a tirade. Every time Ben speaks, I feel more certain that Israel is involved in 9/10. That's the murder of Charlie Kirk. He's way too invested in Charlie's murder. What?
What?
You made one video every single day
Yeah.
for 4 months about how different people killed Charlie Kirk. But Ben is too invested in the murder of his friend because he spoke on his stage? Anyway.
She said that his wife was complicit. Charlie Kirk's wife. And Ben Shapiro's too invested.
He's never liked Charlie. I don't think that's true, based on basically all of history that we've seen on the internet. And now,
By the way, Tim Pool claims that he has evidence that Candace Owens went around saying that she hated Charlie Kirk before his death.
Suddenly pretending he had a duty to defend his legacy. Ben only cares about Israel, so Israel is involved. Now, I'm going to not do the bullshit, because I'm going to tell you what she's actually saying here, and this is super important, because I think this is one of the most evil things ever. If she is saying that Ben knows that Israel killed Charlie Kirk, that means Ben is involved in Charlie Kirk's murder. This tweet is, and I'm not saying this with hyperbole, and I'm done with the bullshit, this tweet is saying that Ben Shapiro was part of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. This is fucking evil. This is, by the way, not asking questions. This is stating as facts. Israel is involved. Ben knew about it because that's why he's talking about it. This tweet is saying Ben Shapiro killed Charlie Kirk. Okay? This is retarded. This is insane. This is slander, and it's evil. It's straight up evil. It violates one of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not bear false witness. And this is exactly what we're looking at. This is absolute insanity. It's complete and utter insanity that we're dealing with this stuff. So anyway, she keeps crashing out. You cannot have any dignity as a human in being friends with Ben Shapiro. His allegiance is to the state of Israel. He seeks to humiliate Megyn Kelly publicly over a political disagreement. This isn't a politically disagreement at all. This is a disagreement about whether Candace Owens accusing random people of murdering Charlie Kirk is a good thing or not. Megyn knows Tucker Carlson would rather die than do such a thing. What? There is lightness and there is darkness. Darkness cannot comprehend the light. Ben cannot comprehend the light. What a fool. What a loser. He can't comprehend the light. So yeah, anyway, so this is diabolical levels of shit, honestly. That's kind of crazy. So, Jews enslaved black people. True. They did. That's true. That's true. He's right. He's right. She is correct. Jews did enslave black people. 1% of the slaves were owned by Jews.
Yeah.
Because Jews were about 1 to 2% of the population. Just like, everything else. So anyway, so she is right. Jews did have slaves because Jews were American. Just like, any other American. It's pretty insane that we're doing this, bro. It's pretty insane. And so, yeah, anyway. So her crash out keeps going. Hold the presses. My Spidey bitch told me to look into the Talmudic Jew by August Rolling. Oh my God, it's crazy. So yeah, anyway, this is an entire thread about August Rolling for being a complete and utter fraud, debunked by literally everyone. It literally doesn't stop. So anyway, it keeps getting better. It keeps getting better. Shocking. All right, get ready for a Talmudic quote. Are you ready? Are you ready for a Talmudic quote? This is pretty awesome. So, the Talmud states that Adam was the first man and he was created alone. Why was he created alone? Why didn't God just create a whole bunch of people? So, the Talmud says, it was done due to the importance of maintaining peace among people, so that one person will not say to another, my father, i.e. progenitor, is greater than your father. The Talmud straight up says that all men are made in the image of God, and that is why God created one man to be the progenitor of all of humanity. So, again, this entire, bullshit that she keeps spewing constantly it's unbelievably debunked by everyone. No, my dad can beat up your dad. Now, a lot of people don't know this. Candace Owens, I'm not going to show this whole thing. Candace Owens interviewed this person as a whistleblower. So this whistleblower says he's 95% sure he saw Erica Kirk right before Charlie Kirk's assassination in some guilty way. The whistleblower ended up being completely and utterly debunked. Now, she didn't make the claim, but the whistleblower did. And that's essentially what Candace has been doing for a while. All right, now we have to move on to the next response of the Civil War.
Oh, boy.
The Civil War continues, ladies and gentlemen.
Who we got next?
Moving on to Megyn Kelly.
Oh.
Megyn Kelly's response was diabolical as well.
You mentioned him, and your name came up on this stage last night in regards to pretty much all of this. Would you like the opportunity to respond?
Well, I found it kind of funny that Ben thinks he has the power to decide who gets excommunicated from the conservative movement, which shows a willful blindness about his position in it. It reminded me a little of when the girl who was the head of our middle school chorus told me she was going to take all my friends away from me. Chorus? A head cheerleader, maybe. So I resent the whole thing. I object.
She remembers this from her childhood at her age. Clearly it was life-altering. Or she made it up.
To the whole thing, Ben and I, he had the nerve to call me a friend right before he called me a despicable coward for not calling out the people.
I mean, sometimes your friends are despicable cowards. It doesn't mean you don't love them. It just means you don't respect them.
In my opinion, a true friend calls their friends cowards when they're cowards. That's my opinion. And the fact that she can't notice this is pretty pathetic. In my opinion, that's pretty pathetic.
Once called out. So he both wants to parent me and be my child. He wants to tell me what I have to do and who I have to say what to. And then when I don't, he and some of his friends want to act like utter victims because I won't do what they say. They need me. I have to be their
He also didn't call you despicable. He just called you a coward.
daddy and step in to protect them.
In my opinion, she is a coward. I think she's a grifter, too. I think she sees that Candace Owens is getting a lot of views, so she wants to be friends with Candace Owens. That's my opinion, and I'll prove that.
And I am not their daddy, and I resent that he thinks he's in a position to decide who must say what to whom and when. Thank you. So I don't think we are friends anymore. I've been a very good friend to Ben. Nobody knew who the heck Ben Shapiro was when I started putting him on my shows on the Fox News channel, and I helped make
This is such a wild take. Remember when Trump destroyed Megyn? Yeah, I remember that.
When was
we'll get.
the first
I'm not
time
probably going to
Ben
talk about that.
Shapiro
But
was
this is crazy.
I'm a star, and I've been very, very good to Ben over the years, and he's been good to me too. He just recently came on my tour, as did you, and I gave him the most kind introduction I could possibly give him because I know that he's losing subscribers a lot.
He's losing subscribers because he's being controversial. Unlike me, who's cozying up to retards. I'm not sure if that's the flex you think it is.
And so I tried to do something nice for him by
Again, I think Ben Shapiro, whatever, I've covered this as the video went on. In my opinion, these people are all kind of babies. Like, these are all pathetic babies. And I think this is super important to note.
When was
you're
the
all
first
fucking
time Ben
pathetic.
Shapiro
The left
went
is
on
killing
Nick and
us.
Kelly's show?
And you're doing this. All right, that's how I started this entire video. And I stand by that. But anyway.
Giving him a long 10-minute intro and personally vouching for him. And we mixed it up on Israel out on stage. It wasn't Israel because we're on the same place on Israel. We mixed it up over whether Tucker Carlson should be excommunicated from the conservative movement, which I do not believe. And
you're retarded and a coward.
We hugged, said goodbye, and then we had a nice text exchange a couple days later saying our friendship was important to us. And the next thing I saw was him attacking me on stage last night as a coward. So that's not friendship.
You are a coward.
Yeah, 100%.
With friends like that.
You're either a coward or a grifter.
Between Megyn Kelly and Ben Shapiro because she got
or
called
both.
Out. Wow, totally not a pussy. And that's what I have to say. These people are all grown adults that are totally not pussies. That's the conclusion here. So that's Megyn Kelly. I'm going to show you one more clip from this speech, which I think might be one of the wildest clips I've ever heard in my life. All right, any Christians in my audience, pay attention because I'm going to be leaning on your spiritual expertise in just a minute.
But I actually felt like it was divine right order. And I have to tell you, Jack, I've prayed so many times to Charlie and to God to give me the right guidance on how to handle this whole thing.
She prayed to Charlie.
What? That's heresy. That's literally violating the first commandment. Do we have any Christians in chat? What are we thinking here? Because in Judaism, you don't pray to people. That's like a major no-no. I don't know if in Christianity, I feel like that's pretty bad. You pray to Charlie, bro? What are we doing? I don't know, man. That seems like blasphemy, like straight up blasphemy. That's crazy. Anyway.
Actually, within the conservative movement, my friends turning on me because I won't call out my other.
She meant to say ask Charlie. Charlie is dead. What do you mean asked him? You don't consult the dead. That's literally a verse in the Bible. In Deuteronomy, it says it's you're not allowed to consult the dead.
Friends like Tucker, this dust up.
When he was alive? No. She said after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, she spent many, many nights praying to Charlie. What?
Candace and Erica, and Turning Point and Erica, which Turning Point and Candace was. But
and then she starts babbling for an hour because the spirit of the Baal entered her, and she literally forgot how to speak for a moment there because you don't pray to people. This is wild. Yeah. So anyway, so she was praying to Charlie. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like that's pretty weird. That's pretty weird. That's just seems like
it is pretty weird.
Crazy.
Not as weird as the next thing he's going to show.
So anyway, Megyn Kelly keeps going. She makes this tweet. This isn't about me. It is about Candace and Erica, and I commend them both. What? It took a lot of guts for both of them to meet. What? I will let them take it from here. I always wanted to tell you what my role has been. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
What are we doing? This is crazy. I'm here for both Candace and Erica, says a retard grifter that literally wants to have your
girl
cake
power
and eat it
retard
too.
grifter.
I don't hate Megyn Kelly. I don't really know Megyn Kelly. I actually really don't know her a lot. But this is unbelievable levels of pathetic. Dude, both Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes, both of them condemn Candace Owens for this. All right? And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Anytime when Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes are on the same side, you know that shit is objectively
Shlomo
correct.
Fuentes.
All right? That shit is true if they agree. This is a nothing situation. I'm here for Candace and I'm here for Erica because both of them are famous and have lots of views, and I would love to siphon some views and money off both of them. This is like actual grift incarnate. Insane. Now, I just want to show you one clip. Just one clip. So anyway, so this Nicky Rudd, this is the guy that asked Ben Shapiro about the USS Liberty. Look who followed Nicky Rudd. Megyn Kelly. Megyn Kelly followed the Groyper retard. All right, not all Groypers are retards, to be fair.
No, but this guy is definitely a retard.
You know, pretty up to date with modern politics and relatively smart people for the most part. But this guy was retarded, and she decided to follow that guy. For what? You're following him on Twitter because he asked Ben Shapiro a question about the USS Liberty as like some sort of bait question? Like, this is crazy. Like, it's wild. And the funny, Megyn Kelly's pro-Israel. So let's get this straight. You're pro-Israel, but you'll follow this guy because at least he attacked Ben Shapiro? Like, this is levels of pathetic I never expected. Now, this is just going to be one throwback. One throwback to Megyn Kelly because now people change their opinions over times. And everyone has the right to, you know, evolve and grow and change your opinions.
Oh, this is when she was a talk show person, I think.
Become a better person and change your opinions. To a point. All right? To a point. At some point, and this is going to be my nuclear take, at some point, if your opinions are really bad, at one point, that we're literally grifting opinions, and now you're grifting all the way the other way, I am going to call you out. Just like Candace Owens, who used to run this doxing website for right-wing people, this was a good old episode of Megyn Kelly talking about trans kids.
People with me on stage right now are all transgender kids who want others to know it is possible to
Those words don't go
transition
together, I'm
socially
sorry.
with love and support and acceptance within a family and a community.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, dude. Holy shit. You are a grifter. Oh my God. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my God. Huge grifter. What are we talking about?
Please welcome 16-year-old Nicole, 12-year-old Daniel, 14-year-old Gia, 15-year-old Landon, and 13-year-old.
This is a nightmare. This is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Morning, everyone. Morning. Also joining me in our special audience is Gira Goldstein, who's a transgender woman who is the co-founder, along with Jen Grosslandler, who you just met, of the Gender Cool Project, a new movement that is being launched today. We're going to tell you all about it, and it's actually really important. So, all right, welcome to you all. Everybody nervous? Everyone sufficiently nervous? Okay. People with me.
Welcome, everyone, to my child abuse seminar, where I take all these mutilated children and I show them to the people to convince you to maybe mutilate your own children. So yeah, that's Megyn Kelly. I just felt like it was important to bring this up. Simply put, and I think it's important to note, simply put, you are a huge grifter. You're grifting to Candace Owens because she's getting views right now. You grifted to trans kids because back in the day, trans kids were getting views. This is a nightmare. All right, okay, so grifter, we're literally going crazy on everybody. I feel like I'm exposing literally everybody in this entire show. I cooked every single person. It's crazy. Bro, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, Megyn Kelly, everyone gets shit. All right, here, time to give shit to the next guy. All right, this is Steve Bannon responding to Ben Shapiro's
Sorry, Steve Bannon looks like the guy that stole Angel's baby in season 3 of that show, Angel.
Breitbart, Trump Pravda. When he left, he called it Trump Pravda, and he was kind of right. We had to be. There was no other news site that was supporting President Trump. When poor Megyn Kelly came out in that first debate and made what looks like now some innocuous questions, right, about Trump's Facebook page or his Twitter feed?
Nah, Megyn Kelly was kind of pathetic there, not gonna lie. It wasn't innocuous questions. You're just trying to grift.
About Rosie O'Donnell and others?
Oh my God, you called Rosie O'Donnell fat. We should cancel you. Yeah, that's the person we're giving the mic to now.
Pasovic asked her how it turned out. We unleashed the dogs. We were maniacs. Why? President Trump had no backing. Had no backing at Fox, had no backing at the National Review, and at 16, that would have driven him out of the race. So we had to be there.
True.
But Ben Shapiro is like a cancer.
Oh, boy.
And that cancer spreads.
Oh, boy.
It's a cancer.
I love how he said...
Also, remember how they said that this guy had really strong connections to Epstein? Just saying.
Is that, and he gets like one in the audience.
And metastasizes. He tried to take over Breitbart, and I ran him out of there. He tried to take over David Horowitz's, who was his mentor. Don't ask me. Ask the guys associated with David Horowitz what he did there. He tried to take that over. And mark my word, he will make a move on Turning Point because he's always been envious of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, so obviously I have no idea. I have no idea if this is true or not. He got like one or two woos in the audience. No idea if anything that he just said is true. One thing that I do know is, Mr. He's a Cancer. Dog, you were...
None of it's true. As someone who's followed Steve Bannon specifically for a long time, because he's always been a giant piece of shit grifter, none of what he just said was true.
Best friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, I'm not trying to be rude here or anything. You were his bestie. You are in tons of photos with the guy. You were on his island, on his plane, in his house, in his mansions, in all of his houses My guy, you've got to get out of here. What is this?
And unlike everyone else, it was after it was already well known who Jeffrey Epstein actually was.
Actually, Ben Shapiro is a cancer. That's what my friend Jeff Steen told me. So yeah, anyway, so that's what he said. So this is pretty insane. Pretty insane. Bro got tossed out of Trump's White House too. Yeah, no, it's pretty wild. I know, Trump kicked him out of the White House, so it's wild. So anyway, anywho. So that's basically what's been going on. So Ben Shapiro made the speech. Everyone called him out on his speech. And this turned out to just be a giant shit show where everyone's retarded. All right, in my opinion, Ben Shapiro should quit all the fucking gatekeeping bullshit, actually engage in the conversations.
Agreed.
Because there are legitimate questions to ask you, bro. You do seem like you're really scared to discuss your fealty to a certain sovereign foreign nation. That's just an objective fact. Also, stop with the gatekeeping. What do you mean? You the right to be in the conservative movement. Bro, in America, everyone has the right to vote for whoever you want to vote for. What does this even mean? All right, so that's Ben Shapiro. Then we got Steve Bannon calling him a cancer while being besties with Jeffrey Epstein. You got Megyn Kelly, who's a giant grifter, who's like, how dare Ben Shapiro call me out? I'm on Team Erica Kirk and Team Candace Owens, the lady that said that Erica Kirk killed her husband. All right, then we got Owens, who went fully mask off, shit on Ben Shapiro for like 45 minutes straight, calling him a worm and stuff like that, while saying that Ben Shapiro is a Talmudic Jew. And it clearly says in the Talmud that the Jews trick and try to own and control the non-Jews with contracts and slavery, and Jews actually did the slave trade, and Jews trick Christians into hating Muslims. Actual just generic retard shit. And she also accused Ben Shapiro of being involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk, which is pretty insane. Then you get Tucker Carlson, who straight up says that how dare Ben Shapiro try to deplatform people, which he didn't do, and also goes out there talking about how he wouldn't condemn his own brother for being a murderer. What? He wouldn't condemn his own brother for being a murderer?
He loves that show,
Y'all
Dexter,
have to
let's be
stop
honest.
with the Islamophobia. So now, we have to talk about the adults. All right, getting back to the adults. There was a big surprise at America Fest because I wanted to end on a highlight, on a high note. Erica Kirk decides to walk onto stage in America Fest with Nicki Minaj, pop star, one of the biggest names in media. Nicki Minaj comes out as a giant Trump supporter today. Yeah,
that was
this is
interesting.
Nuts equal opportunity exposure. Yeah, no, these hands are rated E for everyone. Everyone's retarded. All right, the left is killing us, and these people are fucking throwing.
Everyone's
poo at each other.
retarded.
It's crazy. So anyway, walks out with Nicki Minaj, and look at the crowd. Yeah, so the crowd goes absolutely insane. And honestly, this is goy slop. I'll be real. This is straight up goy slop. No one should be that excited about this. Like on the one hand, I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that culture swang so much in our favor that this is.
That is the impressive
But
part
on the
of
other
this.
hand, this is like are we really winning people over with celebrities, guys? That's what the left was doing forever. This is like completely pathetic. Like, come on, guys. It swang, Chad, it swang. Stop asking questions. That's how we say it. Says it in the Talmud, and it swang. So anyway, it's gonna be my response to everything now. Just make up stuff that you put in the Talmud. All right. So anyway, Nicki Minaj actually did kind of cook over here. She was completely right with what she said.
Receive that, bullies. We won't be silenced ever again. We will speak up for Christians wherever they are in this world.
Amen.
Amen. I don't know if you can see this at home, but she's getting a ton of standing ovations.
I love you guys so much. Thank you guys.
Yep.
Receive that.
Yep. So this is pretty crazy. This is pretty insane.
What's Nicki
and it's
Minaj's
honestly a
real name?
massive W that the culture is shifting, but guys, you have to bro, please, dude, please stop. You've got to stop. Like, what are we doing, guys? Like, this is crazy. Like, on the one hand, it's nice that the culture shifted. On the other hand, guys, what are we doing? This is goy slop. Stop. This is celebrity shit. Now, the crazy thing is, there really is a Charlie Kirk tweet for everything. Charlie Kirk tweeted this. In 2021. Democrats' treatment of Nicki Minaj should be all the proof you need that they don't care about black people, especially those they can't control. They just use them every 4 years for their votes, but people are waking up. Charlie Kirk was right about Nicki Minaj 4 years ago.
That's damn impressive. The fact that this guy,
So anyway,
I don't want to say
I welcome
prophesized,
the
but
celebrity
prophesized.
epiphanies, and I welcome the retards that shift their votes because of celebrities, and I welcome the culture shift. Like, bro, this is crazy.
But at the same time, I mean, come on, her last name is Minaj.
All of this shit was the final speech of the entire America Fest, where J.D. Vance.
And this was exactly the speech that you would want from a politician.
Unlike the left.
And that is one thing I'll say. He doesn't take shit. And when he needs to be the unifier, he can be the unifier. I really think if he does it right, J.D. Vance could bring us somewhere towards the middle to where we ought to be. Somewhere that's the best of the 90s and the best of now. When we actually taught about unity and togetherness, not just when it was, man, I can't wait till my day in power kind of shit.
We stand against treating anybody, and I love what Nikki said about this. We don't treat anybody different because of their race or their sex. So we have relegated DEI to the dustbin of history, which is exactly where it belongs.
That's right, baby. Get it out.
In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore.
Oh my God. That's it.
And if you're an Asian, you don't...
And you shouldn't have to apologize for being anything that you were born as. I don't care. Absolutely nobody. And unless... I can't even think of another reason for it. No one should have to apologize for the sins of their forefathers. No one should have to apologize for the way they were born. Unless it was a birth defect and it caused great horror to what used to be your mother.
You don't have to talk around your skin color when you're applying for college because we judge people based on who they are, not on ethnicity and things they can't control.
God, he is cooking. Wow.
100% facts. There should be no hatred on
We
this.
don't persecute you for being male, for being straight, for being gay, for being anything. The only thing that we demand
female.
is that you be a great American patriot, and if you're that, you are very much on our team.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, he said the dustbin quote because a lot of you might not remember. Ilhan Omar said that about Charlie Kirk. When Charlie Kirk was murdered, he said that Charlie Kirk is the...
And that's another reason I respect Vance. Look, love him or hate him. He remembers, but he doesn't go at it the same way that Trump does. He goes at it the way someone who's president or vice president should go about things, for the most part. He's still got some fairly horrendous tweets, at least as far as lefties are concerned. Even some have made me go, yeesh. But for the most part, especially considering where politics have gotten us recently.
Going in the dustbin of history. That's why he used that quote. Absolutely disgraceful and disgusting. But anyway, dude is cooking. He came out to cook. Now, I wanted to close this all up with so before I show you the final clip, J.D. Vance has been cooking tremendously. Talking about how you can't swap 10 million people from anywhere in the world and expect America to remain unchanged. America is its people, obviously, and ultimately. Minnesota's mad at J.D.? Yeah, of course they are. But I wanted to show you this as the final quote, the final clip of the video to end the entire conservative Civil War movie that I put together. J.D. Vance responds to Ben Shapiro versus Tucker Carlson versus Nick Fuentes versus Megyn Kelly versus Candace Owens. No one expected this, but it happened. And it happened in the best possible way.
Sorry, I was looking up things about Nicki Minaj. Her real name is Onika Tanya Mirage. Her stage name was not her choice. Somebody changed my name, she told The Guardian in 2012. One of the production deals I signed, the guy wanted my name to be Minaj, and she fought him tooth and nail. I didn't know that. I did not know that. God, that's crazy. Anyway.
Way any politician could have ever addressed it.
I didn't bring a list of conservatives to denounce or to deplatform, and I don't really care if some people out there, I'm sure we'll have the fake news media, denounce me after this speech. But let me just say...
They are, for the record. CNN already said.
Yeah, 100%.
J.D. Vance refuses to condemn Nazis.
The best way to honor Charlie is that none of us here should be doing something after Charlie's death that he himself refused to do in life. He invited...
Well, he refused to platform Nick Fuentes.
No,
so,
yeah, he
again,
did. He
not
did
like
definitely
a huge
do that.
argument, but I get it.
All of us here.
He's right.
Charlie invited all of us here for a reason.
And I even think if Charlie was alive today, although this had to happen, like Nick Fuentes has changed a little bit, at least the surface level. From what we've seen so far, time will tell the rest. But ever since Charlie was assassinated, Nick Fuentes has changed notably. I think the way that he is now, he might let him on and actually have a conversation with him and actually press him when he needs to be pressed. Like a journalist.
Because he believed that each of us, all of us, had something worth saying, and he trusted all of you to make your own judgment.
Well, most of us are retards, so.
More important work to do than canceling each other. We have to build, and President Donald Trump is a builder.
That's right. Facts.
See, and that's why he's a good vice president. You can always tell when he doesn't agree with something that Trump does. But he's got a way of putting things to where he can still make it noted, but still get across a unifying message for the most part.
It's the right that builds, the left that destroys.
Building a better country right now, and you have a rightful place in the success of your nation and the success of this movement.
That's right.
And we build by adding, by growing, not by tearing down. Charlie Kirk was a great builder too.
And that's where it is, man. And that's where it is. That's where everything is. It's all about that. And honestly, he absolutely cooked. And he's correct.
He did.
Now, on the one hand, Ben Shapiro is a conservative commentator, has every right to call out whoever he wants to call out. Don't get me wrong. I call people out. I think it's important. But J.D. Vance, as a politician, needs to be the great unifier. And honestly, I think that
he does a good job at it.
speech was fantastic. This was fantastic. So anyway, that was this episode of Right Wing Civil War that happened at America Fest. Everyone's retarded except for J.D. Vance. That's pretty insane how that happened.
Yeah, pretty much.
But anyway,
I mean,
thanks
and
so
there's
much for
levels
being
to the
here.
shit.
Hope you enjoyed. Wake the fuck up, people. Our enemy is trying to flood our country with retards. Third world retards are trying to populate our country with Islamist terrorists and fucking bullshit from the third world. All right? Pay attention. They're trying to kill us in every possible...
I mean, I refuse to believe that about every Muslim in the world. I believe it for a majority of the people who stick to the original doctrine or whatever. But yeah, and I had Muslim families in my hometown. I had a whole ass mosque. I went to high school with a few. They were great. I mean, but I'm from the Bible Belt, so they just kind of seemed like Christians with different clothes, and they were more devout. But then, that was, God, so that was 30 years ago almost. Jesus. But anyway, that's all for today. Thank you everyone for stopping by. I know these longer ones that I do on my days off are a bit harder to suffer through. And then I know I'm always hit or miss. Some days I'm on point and I just have comments and commentary and jokes and quips and the whole deal. And then some days I'm kind of just here being like, I have little more to say than Hassan Piker's chair. If only I had a dog in the background I could shock, then I'd be famous. But I appreciate everyone who stops by, even for a minute. It means the world to me. I'll probably never make any kind of money on this thing, but I'm going to keep trying. I'm also going to try getting back into stand-up here locally in the coming new year. And, here's to that. I've got a few things done, and I've got some song parodies I need to finish. I've got a new one. It's going to be a Christmas song based off, the original Little John song. To the window, to the wall. Oh, Get Low. That's what it is. Get Low. It took me a minute. I don't know why it takes me so long to think of it. I've been listening to it so much lately so I can write this damn song. But it's going to be great. I can't wait to hopefully get that finished before too long. If anybody knows any animators, I've got an idea for the animation too. It's going to be great. But thank you all for stopping by. Probably no show tomorrow morning, but I will definitely be back on Friday and probably on Saturday too. But thank you all. It means the world to me. Drop a like on whatever platform you're on.